Hello, hello, welcome to the Ghana Agenda. My name is Alfred Amuzu, and today we have a packed show for you. Today we're talking about two topics. I wanted to make sure a few of you are online before we start. So if you haven't already done so, please share the link, today we are talking about Ghana acquiring Sputnik V from, third parties. And some of those third parties, the allegation has been that some of them are suspicious character who has been being investigated in his own country, and a sheikh who, in fact, Ghana has had a couple of deals with. I'm going to show you where this sheikh we are talking about, Sheikh. His name is difficult to pronounce, but I get it for you. This sheikh has actually gotten a lot of deals across Africa, and I'm going to show that to you today. In fact, his name is Sheikh Al Maktoum. Sheikh Al Maktoum. My understanding is he's a second cousin of the ruler of Dubai. So this guy is very loaded and he's bought a lot of influence on the continent. He is in the middle of this current Sputnik V deal that we'll be talking about today. So we are discussing that. And also, Bank of Ghana actually responded to an invitation. Oh my God, I don't know if you guys could hear me the whole time I was talking. Welcome to the Ghana Agenda. My name is Alfred Amuzu, and today we have two things we'll be talking about. We are talking about the Sputnik V vaccines that was acquired by the Republic of Ghana or from some third parties. This is a vaccine that is developed by Russia. We know how, when the vaccine was being developed, there were conversations around whether it was tested enough. I think this vaccine was the first to come out, actually. And the conversation was whether, it had a lot of testing, that the Russia circumvent, the testing procedures, etc., etc. But we're talking about that because Ghana has acquired some of that. And the reason they acquired that is because India, which is where we get our AstraZeneca vaccines from, has had a lot of cases of COVID themselves. And so they've put a stop on exporting their vaccines to other countries. And as a result, it caused a lot of shortages within the vaccine supply chain. And countries like ours would have to look elsewhere for vaccines. Now, multiple countries, the big countries that are able to manufacture their own vaccines are playing what we call vaccine diplomacy with their stockpiles. And so we'll be delving into all that. In the meantime, I have two people already watching and they are giving me, I think I have Adikai Kuma. Shama says hi. He's watching us. Thanks for watching, Kuma. If you haven't already done so, please share the link. And also, the next thing we'll be talking about is the Bank of Ghana. The Bank of Ghana responding to a petition that was sent to Parliament by UniBank and also UT Bank. These are two banks that were closed during the banking crisis, if you quite remember. And the owners of this bank thought they had been, or their human rights has been violated. They made several different allegations. They had cases in court. Some of those cases are currently stalling. And so they petitioned Parliament to investigate the case. And Parliament invited Bank of Ghana, or wrote to Bank of Ghana to respond to some of the allegations that has been leveled against them by the owners of UT and UniBank. Bank of Ghana responded to that petition, or responded to Parliament's call for their response. And in their response, they pretty much told Parliament that they don't have to respond to Parliament. Parliament is out of depth, that Parliament doesn't have any jurisdiction over the particular case in question, etc. So we'll be delving into that. I'll be sharing the letter that was written by the lawyer of the Bank of Ghana to Parliament, and we'll be looking at some of the reasonings that he outlined, whether he's just been, whether he's, or whether the bank it's stepping outside of their mandates, or they're not responding to the legislature, etc. We'll look into all that. I would also be doing something new today. I'll be opening the phone lines. So if you're interested in contributing to the show, I'll be opening the phone lines and you can call into the show and make your contributions. In the meantime, let's take a quick break. we'll be back to continue the conversations. Again, this is the Ghana Agenda. My name is Alfred Amuzu, and today is June 16th, June 12th, 2021. If you haven't already done so, please share the link, and we'll be right back to discuss the matters table for discussion today. We'll be right back.
Hey, this your girl coming all the way from the US of A, ya baby, aka ya Phantom. And me di feel a boozing pan and to see one virtue the money how Ghana mat ada romantic. What's me sending provisions? As I such credit, Emma Ebusuya phone and the form one Ghana. And one is a ubako www.ghanamat.com. And they would say, boy, a sharp connection. www.ghanamat.com. Let's provisions in credit. Na I have friend numbers na screen Ghana Mat ye crano.
Are you 65 years or older? Good news. Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. It's true. For most people, your health insurance program increases as you grow older. That's why the state of Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. If you are 65 years and older, there's one thing we can all agree on. Your health and well-being is important. Whether you are a recent green card holder or retiree, asylee or without paper, you're now eligible for the Illinois Medicaid Health Insurance Program. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. Documents needed to apply: your proof of ID, your proof of address, and your proof of income.
I have no sound. Okay, can you hear me now? All right, welcome back to the show. I think I had myself on mute earlier, but like Jesus, thanks for pointing that out to me. But great. So today we are talking about the Sputnik V vaccine, which has been acquired by Ghana, and this is one of the coronavirus vaccine version that was developed by Russia. We know that this is one of the first vaccines that actually came out, and the accusation was that Russia didn't go through all the processes in coming up with this vaccine, etc., etc. But then it is being tested and approved by Ghana and is being used. Now, in this vaccine, it is kind of a little different from all the vaccines that we are familiar with. Of course, we know of so sound is good now, right? Good. All right. So we know of the AstraZeneca, the Pfizer's, and the Modernas, which are, even though they are two-shot vaccines, you can take the same vaccine or the same, category twice. In other words, there is not like a male or female type. But with the Sputnik, you take one which is supposed to be a male, and then you take another one which is supposed to be a female. So it's two different unique vaccines that make the total shot. So if you're taking that one, there's that difference that people should be aware of. Okay, so the issue is Ghana has decided to buy these vaccines because the vaccine that they were getting from the COVAX scheme, and if you recall, the COVAX scheme was a World Health Organization facility or sort of program that collected vaccines from those countries that were ready to donate, like the big economies like the United States, the UK. They decided to support the World Health Organization to acquire vaccines so that countries that are now well-to-do, third world countries like ours, can also be supported. And the promise was that the third world countries were going to get 20% of the population's inoculations from the COVAX scheme. So in Ghana, in our case, we have about a population of 31 million. So we're going to get in a region of about 6 million doses from the COVAX scheme. And what the COVAX scheme was actually providing was the Sputnik V or Sputnik V. And the COVAX was actually providing the AstraZeneca vaccine, which was being manufactured in India. Now, we also know that at some point this year, India has experienced a huge uptick in people infected with the vaccine, with the disease, the coronavirus. And therefore, the vaccines that they were producing and exporting to other countries, including the ones they were sending to the COVAX scheme, had to be rerouted. So it's causing a lot of shortage within the supply chain. And so Ghana has to now find a way to, find other sources of vaccines for the population that hasn't been inoculated. Ghana has so far vaccinated about 400,000 people out of the 31 million. Let me take a quick break so I could grab something to keep wiping my face off of with, because it's getting a little hot here. But stay with me. If you haven't already done so, please share the link. We will be right back. Black Jesus, thanks for checking the sounds for us. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Are you 65 years or older? Good news. Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. It's true. For most people, your health insurance program increases as you grow older. That's why the state of Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS IL65 to 773-420-8976. If you are 65 years and older, there's one thing we can all agree on. Your health and well-being is important. Whether you are a recent green card holder or retiree, asylee or without paper, you're now eligible for the Illinois Medicaid Health Insurance Program. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. Documents needed to apply: your proof of ID, your proof of address, and your proof of income.
All right, welcome back to the show. So as I was saying, Ghana was able to find other sources of vaccines, which is the Sputnik V that they wanted to administer in the country. As you can see, I'm actually sharing the link right now. So if you haven't already done so, please help share the link so that others can watch the program. Now, mostly when you are buying this thing, because it was actually developed by the Russian government, the Russian government set up a couple of entities through which they would be, either selling or having other countries who are interested also benefit from their version of the coronavirus vaccine, Sputnik V. Now, so the first institution that the Russian government was dealing through was something they call the Russia Direct Investment Fund, which is a fund in Russia that Russia is able to do business through. One of my guests is calling, and I'm going to try to connect him, so please bear with me. Mr. Fa, can you hear me? Yeah, can you hear me? I think you're live on the show, so let me know if you can hear me. Great, great. So basically what we are doing is kind of going through the contract to purchase Sputnik V from Russia, and I was laying the foundation that Russia set up a couple of organizations through which they were going to be distributing or selling or dealing with other countries, and that organization is the Russians Direct Investment Fund, or RDIF. Also, they set up another company called Human Vaccine LLC. But what we got so far was that, it was getting difficult to deal directly with the Russians themselves or the Russian government themselves. So the government of Ghana is not able to have a relationship or be able to, acquire or secure these vaccines directly from a government to government contact. So they had to go through a third party. Okay, so the third party they dealt with, Sheikh, or they call him His Excellency Sheikh Ahmed Batman Maktoum, who is a second cousin of the ruler of Dubai. Very rich guy. This guy has business dealings all across Africa. He's, the same person who is the owner of Ameri. If you remember the Ameri deal, the power generator that we brought to the country to support our emergency power problems. And so this guy has, so many different engagement with several different African countries. And so I'm not surprised that he emerged in this scenario as well, or helping African countries acquire vaccine. But there are allegations that the vaccines are supposed to cost just $10, and he has priced it at $25, and we negotiated with him and got it to $19, etc., etc. What are you hearing from your camp, or what is your understanding of all the situations that I've just described so far? I want to make sure I can hear you when you talk. So I'm trying this new technology now. I've gotten a way to kind of connect calls into my program. So let's see if, I can hear you. So, introduce yourself. I know your listeners definitely know you, or the viewers know you from your previous appearances on the show. But if you can still just tell them quickly who you are and then what your contribution is on that. My question then is, what are you hearing about this whole deal to acquire Sputnik V from a third party to be used in Ghana for vaccination purposes? Yes, I can hear you. Yep. Sputnik V. Yeah, there you go. Yep. That is the vaccine that the Russian, okay, somebody's saying they cannot hear you, the caller. So let me see how. Yeah, I think it's connected. Okay, say something again. Let's try this properly. Oh, so they cannot hear you. Oh my God. Yeah. No, this is perfect. But if not, can you just try your phone? Use your phone to get in the same way we do all the time. Let me send you the invite to WhatsApp real quick, and try to see if you can come in that way. Yes, and yeah. So I'm gonna try to use. Hold on, just give me a quick minute here. All right. Yeah. So yeah, I sent you the link. Just try to see if you can get through the other way. All right. So listeners, what we are doing is we are bringing in Kakape, who is the spokesperson or the communication director, deputy communication director of MPP here in the United States. He's going to be joining us to discuss the issues that we've tabled for discussion today, which is the Sputnik V. But in the meantime, I'm getting some messages here, which says Ibrahim is saying, Alfred, please can you assist Ghana to get the Sputnik V vaccine because the old men are chopping the money. Money they Ghana, Papa. I swear to God, I know this. Even like money they send, every now and then something get cooked up, and that becomes a scandal, and people try to use all kinds, like you say, all kinds of crisis for monetary gains. But also, John is saying we can't hear the caller's voice. So, John, thanks for that feedback. We've been able to correct that. So he's joining now.
Hello.
Yeah, Kakape, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We need delete, Kakape.
Now I can hear you.
It's working now.
Yeah, Kakape, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you also hear me?
Yes. I think your sound should
Okay.
be. So yeah, if you can go ahead, and I think you were saying some things before we got off.
Yeah.
The audio. So
Okay. So yeah, once again, this is Efamio. Unfortunately, I can't show my face for whatever reason it is, but you know me, and
right.
Pakape. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much, Alfred, for the opportunity. Thanks a lot.
Right.
And I want to greet and say hi to everybody and to our cherished listeners and all the people listening to us right now. So right now, the issue we are talking about is Sputnik V, right?
Yeah, Sputnik V.
And so the argument is that the factory price is $10, and Ghana is buying it at $19, and there was another report by Joy FM that also puts it at $26 or so. Yeah, I mean,
No,
initially,
I think the $26 was $26 was from another company that we've engaged. So we had two different third parties that we are dealing with in this acquisition. We are dealing with the Sheikh from Dubai, who's the second cousin of the ruler of Dubai.
right.
Who's the same person is the owner of Ameri, if you remember that Ameri
Right.
power plants that we brought to Ghana.
Right.
And so this guy has so many different deals in the African continent. One of the big bank rollers. You see all the presidents lining up, going to see him for one project or the other.
Right.
And then we also dealt with a company called SNL, SL, which is supposed to be a Ghanaian company. And they are quoting a price of $26 per job. So yes.
Right. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. So when the story broke, we all said, "Hey, Jack, what's going on?" And we all sought to understand what is happening and stuff like that.
Right.
If you listen to a series of explanation that is coming, I am convinced. I am convinced, not because it is my government that is in power, but let's look at the scenarios, and then from there we can take it out from there. And let's use Moderna's case and the case of Moderna and Pfizer and the case of Israel against United States to understand the market and all that is happening now. Now, we are talking about COVID-19 here, right? We are running against time. This is a virus that broke out last year and has devastated economies. So everybody is racing against time as far as opening up and allowing people to come in is concerned, for your economy to get back on track. What do you do under the circumstances, right? If you look at the countries that have been able to gone ahead of us, and in this case, I will use Israel as an example, right? Israel basically used two drugs, the Moderna and the Pfizer. Now, I don't know the exact price that they give, but the information we are receiving is that they pay higher. The Israeli government paid higher than whatever the US the US government paid. That is why in Israel they've been able to do what we call herd immunity. Get
Yeah, so they were able to get to the herd immunity faster than any other country. Okay.
Exactly. Now,
yeah.
Now, if you look at the pricing with Pfizer and Moderna, the factory price or whatever Moderna was quoting for the government at that time was, I think with Pfizer it was about $19 or so, and Moderna was quoting about $37 factory price or something like that. So,
right.
If we all know that when they say factory price, it is the production price, right? And then there are other things that if you have a middleman, if you have some people getting it to you, it's definitely going to cost something else, right? Okay. So you go to the market and this is what you need. At this point in time, as we are speaking, getting a COVID-19 dose or drug or whatever you want to call it, it's the hot cake around the world, right? People are quoting incredible prices for it because it is still at the early stage. The productions are not there. The doses, the quantity that people need, they are simply not there. Whatever is available, it comes at who is ready to pay what price to get it. So that is what we are talking about. So the question some of us initially asked is that I mean, why don't you deal? We have a country called Ghana. There's a country called Russia where this production is coming from. Okay,
right.
So don't we have an embassy in Ghana? Don't we have an embassy in Moscow? Okay, can't Nana call Putin and Putin all these pressures on that? But it doesn't. In this case, it doesn't work like that.
Right.
That's what we need to understand.
The understanding is there's been an attempt to actually get a government-to-government transaction.
Exactly.
But that did not happen.
It did not work.
And why didn't it work? I mean, we have known that we would need these vaccines for a very long time. There were even people who advocated that Ghana will participate as part of the trial of those vaccines to get the bilateral relationships there, so that when it comes time to get the vaccines, that we would be in line for that. So why is it that, is it by surprise that we've now been able to negotiate with Russia and get something from the Russian government? In any case, there are other countries that are still getting the Sputnik V from Russia directly, and they're getting it for $10 per jab. So why is it necessary for us to go?
Can you mention some of these countries for the sake of?
Oh, there's the Czech Slovakia, or so they call what is the name? I heard this guy on the Joy News today who actually mentioned all these other countries who are also third world countries who actually are getting it for $10.
Okay. And you are saying that they got it from the Russian government and not from the company. Is that what you're saying?
Well, the Russian government it's not dealing directly with it. They are using their Russian Direct Investment Fund and the Human Vaccine LLC to be the outfits which they distribute these vaccines through. And so, those countries, I suspect, were getting it from those outfits, which we could have also done. So why would we be, going through a third party? Because what it appears is the third party is able to get it from where? From the producer, or from the same arrangements that Russia have in place. What is preventing the Ghanaian government from doing same?
Yeah, so it's easy to say that, and that is what most people will say.
Right.
How a particular country will use or whatever means they use to get whatever they need from one country may not be the same, right? And people have quoted all these countries, including Algeria and all that. In fact, what went to Algeria was basically free because they want to produce whatever over there. And for us to basically understand what is happening as far as the vaccine is concerned, that's why I was using the Israeli as an example. And this is from the Times of Israel, right?
Right.
It is from the Times of Israel. Let me read a little bit. I can't read all. It said the price tag per person for coronavirus that Israeli has purchased from the Pfizer BioNTech and Moderna pharmaceutical companies is $47.
Yeah, but we know that the Pfizer and the Moderna are more expensive. Now, here's the thing: the Russians themselves set the price that they will be selling the vaccine out to be $10. So it's not like you can't compare Pfizer and Moderna to Sputnik V. All this. Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah, I'm just making an argument. I'm just telling you. You know, what is the factory price for Moderna and Pfizer? You know, it's between. In fact, some people were quoting as low as $14 per Pfizer, $14, right?
Right.
And Israel is paying $47.
Right.
And that was how they were able to get herd immunity as fast as they could. And I was listening to this interview with Netanyahu, and Netanyahu said, why would you go to that extent of paying such a huge amount of money? And then I think there was the response was in question. Netanyahu said, do you know what it means to close an economy? Do you know what it means for an economic growth to reduce from a certain percent to another? Right. So these are choices that are available to countries. Now, you see, there's one thing. You can go to the market, right, and get, say, Nike for whatever, $20. Another person will go and will be looking for this $20 Nike won't get. Because maybe you had a connection that connected you today. I don't have that connection. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right? And government has said it over and over again that they've raised all these, what do you call it, letters of credit, right? And that companies came in. And at the end of the day, the issue is not just coming into bid. They were looking for ability to do it because they've had a case where they contracted one company to bring in some doses and then they diverted it because apparently they got a bigger price somewhere, right?
I'm not aware of that, but okay. You were asking about
I will send you all those information. So here is what happened with this company.
So you were asking for the price of Pfizer. Pfizer was going to be for $19.50 per dose.
Okay.
Moderna was going to be for $15 per dose.
Okay.
And then there's Novavax, which is going to be $16. There's a Johnson & Johnson, which is going to be $10. AstraZeneca was going to be $4 per dose. So,
right.
Even if you look at the premiums, like, if you look at Pfizer, which is supposed to be the one that everybody's, is the most sought after, it's not $24. It's not $25. It's not the prices they are quoting. And the government is saying there are things like freight transportation and et cetera, but you suspect that if there was, we want exactly what you are paying for the vaccine itself. We'll talk about freight and all that later on, right? I'm not sure when you're going to buy something that you would calculate, because what if
right, don't even worry about freight and all that, because at the end of the day,
but that's what the explanation of the Minister of Health says.
But you see, Pfizer and Moderna that you quoted, Israel bought it at $47.
Yeah, I'm not aware of that though. I can check.
Hold on. No, I can send you the link. Don't worry. After that, I can send you the link, and it is this I'm getting from the Times of Israel. Okay, I'll send you the link and you can read it. Next week you can quote me. So if look at the power of Israel, right?
Right.
Look at how connected they are.
Right.
Look at the ability of Israel. Do you know how many Jews are in the United States of America controlling almost everything right here in the banking sector, pharmaceutical industry? There was one of these lecture by Netanyahu that I listened
to. Let's concentrate on the acquisition by Ghana of Sputnik V. I know so Israel makes a very interesting case for us to discuss.
Yeah, but
let's concentrate
the short of it is that if Israel so powerful can get it at that price,
right?
Who is Ghana? And then the second point is also that we are running against time, so we don't really have time to really.
When you say we are running against time, what do you mean? Because in Ghana, we've had about 94,000 persons infected with the disease, and we have about 780 something deaths.
Okay,
so Ghana's case is really not an emergency. If you look at it from this context.
No. You are we going to vaccinate only the people that have been affected? No, you are vaccinating the whole country.
No, we are vaccinating the whole country. But I'm saying that
me and you are here. We were on this radio chastising government. The thing is going, close the country, do this, blah blah blah. Even when the government had the opportunity to have controlled the disease and was still saying that, I've got no. People were saying, no, we are not there yet. It's all arguments, and I think this and I think that we can come. But the practicality and the issue at the end of the day is that the virus is still with us. It can bump up at any time. So what is it that the country is supposed to do? And this is even, we are talking about 350,000 doses or whatever, right?
We're actually contracting for 3.4 million doses.
Exactly.
The first batch was going to be the 300, and even that they couldn't deliver, and so far they haven't really delivered.
No.
We've gotten.
Okay, so the delivery aspect, we can come and talk about the delivery and stuff like that. But they proved, they told them to first deliver 5,000. There are 2 doses, so 5,000, 5,000, 10,000, which they did. So that one, it's in storage in Ghana, and no money has been paid for that. So
even that. You said we talk about delivery, but we're talking about delivery now. Even that, they were asked to actually, bring in 20,000 of the vaccines just to prove, right? Because we did the letter of credit to show them that we have the funding to pay for these things.
Right.
They mixed the deadline for that delivery in March. They didn't meet that in April. They brought 15,000. And if you recall, this Sputnik V vaccine is a little different from all the other vaccines because it is one that the first one you take is not necessarily the second. It's not going to be the same as the second one you take. There is supposed to be a male and female component. Right. So the 15,000 they brought was lacking. Another 5,000, which would have been the second group that would complement the other 5,000. So even that they delayed it so much so that we just in some way in June got all the 20,000 that we needed. But the agreement says that they have to deliver by July. Otherwise, then of course we'll be able to get out of that agreement. But so far there's been a sign that they are not able to deliver so far, even on just the 20,000 that we are asking. And the World Health Organization is cautioning countries like ours to be careful dealing with third parties in the market. Why would Ghana? Because we just heard Joe Biden made an announcement that he's going to increase the US's donation to the COVAX scheme from 8 million to 50 million or so, or 500 million or so. A lot, significant boost. So we could have waited and gotten, the vaccines that we needed from the COVAX scheme. All the vaccines we've gotten in Ghana so far and inoculated people, we all came from the COVAX scheme. We could have waited. Our case is not a case of emergency, all right? But it seems, somebody smelled an opportunity again to actually do a deal, and out of that, divert or whatever, inflate prices. Because again, this vaccine that we are talking about, even the Russian government themselves came out to say this vaccine is going to cost $10 to any country willing to purchase. We need our government to establish that they are getting it for $10, and in addition to that, they are spending XYZ for transportation, storage, etc., etc. That will make sense. But when you come to tell us that somebody is quoting it on the third market or the black market for $25, you went and negotiated that to $19. Did you go to Parliament to seek an approval? So there's so much in there. But in my understanding of what we've done so far, it looks like somebody is, again, creating something that shouldn't be created. We shouldn't have this situation. What do you say about that?
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, you have a point to whatever you're saying, but it is like all that you are saying sum up to. We should wait till there's an emergency, and then people are going to start talking about. Okay, you see, when this situation comes, this is what we say. When this thing hit, this is what we say. We always seem to be jumping the gun, and every point in time, we were all here when the COVID hit, and what people said. So, as a government, you make your decision. If at this point in time, whatever is going to come from the international distance, we are talking about we are talking about how many people? 30 million people, right? And how many is coming in right now? Even the 600,000 that came in, you saw people still fighting over it, and we saw somebody trying to steal them or smuggle them or whatever it is. No, me speaking, I will give the government, I will give a government a plus, right?
What are you giving them a plus for?
You cannot rely on handouts and wait that I am hungry, but I needed the money to have done something else. So somebody has made an announcement that there is going to be some whatever, and they're going to give us. How much is going to come to Ghana? We don't know. I don't think they're going to give Ghana 15 million doses free.
But what we are saying is, we understand that you can't wait and do all these things until you can't wait for an emergency to do these things. But we are saying that the organization you are dealing with, the shark you are dealing with, is a foreigner. And if you're doing any transaction with a foreigner, what needs to happen? You understand the law. You know that when you're doing any transaction that involves a foreigner, that it has to go to Parliament for approval, because it becomes a foreign transaction. It's an international transaction. So you don't just jump the gun and say you have to do an emergency and you go and write a letter of credit and sign an agreement. What authority are they signing that agreement based on?
Right. It is not every agreement that goes to Parliament, right?
Well, if it is an international agreement, it has to go through Parliament.
It is not every international agreement that goes to Parliament. And I've read somewhere
to Parliament.
Okay, if I can, and I've read from somewhere that it came to Parliament. What was it? Was it Kwabena Mintah said it came to Parliament, but they brought $10 to Parliament. So what is this? It is not this thing, and it is not that.
Well,
and I think that, and I think that there are laws that governs all these things, emergency situations, whatever. Now, at each point in time, the law is what is used to come up with transactions. And if you are going to quote the particular law that has been whatever that were not used or that was not considered at this point in time, then we all will agree, right? So I don't know what we are trying to say here. You know, you get what I mean. But here is a government. I think I'm not hearing you. If you can hear me, I can hear you. Here is a government that has seen an emergency, right? We can call it anything that we call, but as we speak, there's still restrictions on who can come into the country and who cannot come. And government is really, and what the international UN and World Health Organization and all have said is that, okay, when you get to this level of immunization, then you can begin to do this and that. So as a country, we have to assemble all the experts and say, which way do we go? Right? We can consider the option of how many is going to come in from donors and stuff like that. But what do we do as a country to also make sure that we are also taking care of our people? And I don't think that when did we receive the 600,000 doses? And when is the next one coming in? And this is 3.4 million, right? And there's another contract for another, and we are dealing with over 30 million people, right? Not even 1/3 has been vaccinated. And you think the government should sit down for handouts? I don't think so. And when it comes to the pricing, we can talk about factory price, and some people got it factory price. I mean, when you go to the market, when you are dealing with any commodity, some people can get it from the factory, but not everybody can get it from the factory price. Because you see, they have their middlemen that they deal with. And if for some reason some people are able to get it, it doesn't mean all of us are going to get it. So I will commend the government for doing everything to make sure Ghanaians get vaccinated. We open the economy so that people can go about their businesses for the economy to grow. Other than that, man, we definitely
want the government to do everything possible to make sure people are vaccinated. But we are saying that, the government could directly deal with the Russian government. There's no point in dealing with a third party and giving us prices that, of course, are not what perhaps, if I was going by your story, was not what they disclosed to Parliament. And there was no way that I've heard that this thing actually went to Parliament. From all I'm hearing is that an agreement was signed, a letter of credit was written. Even in the Ministry of Health's own briefing, they did not indicate where they took anything to Parliament. So that, I don't know where you get it. You're getting it from. But at the same time, we are saying that.
But if they did not send it to Parliament, right, then it is under certificate of emergency or whatever you want to call it. Because
there's no emergency in Ghana.
No, who define? No. You don't. The citizens don't define what an emergency is.
Well,
it is the laws of the country. It is the laws of the country that is used to declare that we are in a state of an emergency because the country is closed. We need to open it. What do we do? And under what circumstances can we do? Most of the things that we are doing are under the certificate of emergency.
Right, the country is closed, but we are able to go to. The country is closed, but we are able to go to a funeral and now wear masks, and the president was part of that. But let me read this to you quickly.
That is a different matter altogether.
Let me read this to you. Ibrahim is saying that Mr. Kakapet should be realistic today. He is in the USA, hence his job is safe. Unlike if he had been in Ghana, he would have been sacked, transferred, or be on suspension. He should speak to win the heart of the floating voters. So again, somebody's probably giving you some political advice, and that would be Ibrahim Mohammed. Ibrahim, you should call into the program. I'll give you a number real quick. I'm still trying to see if I can get the calls to actually make it through the show that people can hear. But Mohammed again says, Israel bought it for $40, so Ghana should buy it. Should buy hers for $19. Is Kakapet justifying that running away time like how? Okay. Running away time like how? Okay. And then he says, all this while I thought NDC were the giants in propaganda. So in other words, MPP, really, you guys, the propaganda is getting crazier and crazier.
No, we don't do propaganda. We give facts.
And because the things we are defending here, Kakapet, today, somehow, I don't know if it is defensible. This is the government that.
But Alfred, who has come to the government of Ghana and said that I can deliver at $10, and the government said no? Who?
Apparently, the government. Nobody came to the government. The government went searching for a third party.
Because we are in a state of emergency, and as we speak. You see, as we speak, the advisor to the president on Dr. Nsiah said, who is already, the letter of credit has been prepared. Right. So come. Now, let me quote to you. Let me quote you this. Canada is saying that until 75% of their population has been vaccinated, they are not opening up the economy. You see, all these have repercussions on other countries, Right? And then after some time, we are there. You see, each and every time these big powers, Canada is a big player in the world. America is a big player in the world. They meet and they decide that, okay, now we are not going to deal with countries that have not vaccinated. I will send you. Remind me to send you remind me to send you all that I'm saying, so that next time you come and say, Kakapet said this last week. It's not true. Kakapet said this last week. It's not true. So remind me to tell you all that. What Akando said about Parliament, Israel, Canada, and all that. So at the end of the day, right? When you are running an economy, right, that is what the citizens. This is what the citizens want. It is just
what you are saying. What you're saying, right, would even be justified if at the current moment, even the contract we've signed with this third party has been delivered on. These guys were supposed to even provide us this vaccines since March. We are in June going to July. It hasn't been delivered. So it's not like this attempt to acquire from the third party has actually materialized into anything that, we would say was used to resolve or sort of lessen the emergency that you are describing. If we actually had some emergency that needed to be taken care of, the vaccine hasn't been delivered, so that emergency still exists.
We perfectly understand that. It is like,
but it's so instructive that our government will go and negotiate with a third party for a product that is supposed to cost $10, that they could have actually done a deal directly with the RDIF or the Human, Vaccine LLC, and get this thing at the price Russia sets for other countries to acquire the vaccine for. Countries are known to, Brazil acquire the same vaccine from the Russians for the same $10 that the Russians quoted. So for us to now be talking about, oh, we are getting it for $19, we've negotiated with somebody who didn't even deliver because we're trying to respond to some emergency. Have we responded to that emergency? Have we? We haven't.
Yeah.
And it looks like it smells of, again, creating some type of emergency, taking advantage of that emergency, just like we did at the airport.
It's perfectly fine. Whatever our arguments are, right? It's okay. But the issue is that people with links, with big players, they are struggling to get these vaccines. It is not. It is not something that is readily there. Ghana could have sent some whatever. Go and the Minister for Foreign Affairs and the Minister of Information and say, hey, go to Pfizer's whatever third party office in here and there. You see, the way we are talking, right? Do you know how long it's going to take us? Do you know how long it's going to take? Maybe 2030. By the way, all of us want to go before the next dose after the 600 will come.
Now, when you say, first of all,
if I can finish, that is not how you run. Well, excuse me, that is not how you run an economy, right? Now we are talking about
which part of the Ghanaian economy is now open, by the way? Which part of the Ghanaian economy is not currently open?
Oh. What do you mean? Which part of the Ghanaian economy is not open?
The Ghana is open for business. I don't see a part of Ghana that is not open.
No. It's open, but there are still restrictions and stuff like that. It is not
restrictions on what? Federals?
It is not. I mean, we are still wearing masks and we are still conducting ourselves in. You can't come on now. We just had a funeral for somebody in a particular area, and we are talking about there should have been this and this and this. So if it's open, why were we? Hold on. If it is open, why were we chastising funeral makers, even in the country?
Yeah, I mean, we have restrictions. We have gathering restrictions that people shouldn't gather more than whatever, but we violate it every day. Which funeral have you gone to lately? And they've actually
is a different thing altogether.
No.
Alfred, violation is a different thing. The fact that we have laws that don't pass through the red light and you pass through the red light, it doesn't mean it's a norm.
Yeah, but we cannot be saying that the economy is not open, that we are in a state of emergency, when in fact the economy is fully open. When in fact the restrictions that we say we have in place are not being even paid. Nobody is obeying those restrictions. People are roaming around. If you look at the funeral where the president himself was at, there are so many officials there. No masks were being worn. People were, stepping over each other. And
that is different.
You can see that and tell me that the economy is locked down. There are restrictions. What part of the economy is locked down?
Big concerts cannot be organized, right? Big concerts and stuff. There are restrictions on a whole lot of stuff. If people are disobeying and they've not been called to order, that is a totally different
thing. Were you in Ghana this Christmas? There were concerts all over the place. There were,
Okay. Yeah. No. Okay, but that is not the norm. There are restrictions, and a lot of people have fallen prey to disobeying the rules.
Okay, so again, we are using COVID. We are using COVID as an excuse, and that has been going on. We're using COVID as an excuse to do a lot of spending, to do a lot of deals that we are not accounting for.
If we can focus on this,
and this is just another one example.
If we want to talk about all spendings, we can talk about all spending. Now we are talking about there is a problem with there's a virus, right? And every country, every country on earth is finding a way to control the virus. We are told Israel has been able to do it. They did it this and this and this way, right? They could have waited for Americans to donate to them or whatever, but they did not wait for that. Now Ghana is taking the lead. What we are discussing is even not 30 million doses. We are talking about 10-11% of the population. Doses for 10-11%. maximum 20% of the population. Right?
Well, the contract. There's two different. There are two different. There are two different
if I can finish.
parties we are
we
dealing
all
with
have
here.
a problem because of the pricing, and I'm telling you that it is not a norm that people get factory prices. It is not a norm. So if somebody has gotten something factory price, you cannot say
the factory
that
price. The factory price they are mentioning, I mean, it's the same price that Brazil got it for. Brazil got this thing for $10. In fact,
okay.
No. Hold on.
I have given you the factory price here. And then somebody got it at 2-3 times that. And then
I don't know about that. Send me that information. Send me that information. We'll take a look at it. But
let me Google it. Come on now.
Yeah, send me that information. We'll take a look at it. But what I'm saying is that there's a factory price that other countries are actually getting this vaccine for.
No.
The government should be transparent enough. All we are saying is.
No, what you have to say is that all countries are getting at this price. Why did Ghana not get it at that price? Don't say some, because some are connected, some are not. And the government of Ghana has told you that we tried our best. We tried this way. We did that. Right. You know, so it is not the case that the Ghana government just woke up.
The Ghana government failed to have to get vaccines from another government. The government couldn't negotiate a possibility that is open to all other countries, and all those other countries are taking advantage of it. Brazil was able to negotiate one, so our government was not able to negotiate.
But you don't know the links that Brazil has with Russia, or how they were able to do it.
Come on, do we not have links with? Do we not have Russian embassy in Ghana? Do we not have
America?
I mean, strategic government.
America.
You know. Go ahead. If I go ahead, I'm listening. All right, we seem to have a little problem with this, the sound of our guest. He will be joining us as soon as he can connect back. If you can hear me, I cannot hear you, so perhaps maybe you're on mute, but connect back if you can hear me. Ibrahim is saying, why can't Ghana be part of those countries getting it at the factory price? Why can't Ghana be? Yes, I can hear you now. So, somebody.
Because Ghana did not get it, and we will not wait. In fact, Ghana did not get it, and we will not wait. And we are waiting for people with connections to tell us that we have the connection. So come and get it.
Right.
And I've sent you the information that I was talking about.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that. So we see the type of people who are involved in this, right?
If you can read it, then you know that I'm not lying. So Israel, with all their connections to America, with all their connections to all these companies, do you know how many Jews and all these kind of stuff here? They could not get it at factory price. They got it like not doing twice, more than twice the price.
Well, we got to talk about when we're talking about Israel. When we're talking about Israel, right? Yeah. Israel was getting the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccines when the United States was not even selling it to anybody, because the US wasn't selling, they weren't selling Pfizer. They were trying to make sure that the population is, inoculated first. But anyway, I'm going to play this video for you quickly.
But no. Let me disagree with you. America has not finished vaccinating its population.
Right.
Israel has finished vaccinating its population, and they got the vaccine from Pfizer and Moderna. So what are you talking about here? And they got
let me play this video for you.
It's not at factory price. They got it at $47.
Let me play this video from an investigative journalist, a Norwegian investigative outfit, UniBank, who actually followed one of the third parties who were dealing with Morten Hansen, who, and according to understanding, is under investigation in his own country for some money laundering situations. Let me play that video for you. When we come back, we'll discuss on the other side what we hear from this video. So let's take a listen.
Mainly deals with how the Russian Sputnik vaccine has been sold through intermediaries in the United Arab Emirates to a number of countries, amongst other Ghana. Well, we don't know the exact details of all the deals that have been made along the way, but what we see is that the Russians are selling vaccines through their monetary fund, the RDIF, the Russian Direct Investment Fund. And they have made deals with a company called Gulf in the United Arab Emirates. That company, again, has made the Sheikh Ahmed Al Maktoum an exclusive sales agent for a number of countries, amongst other Ghana. So that's what we can say about the route. And as you correctly said, the Russians are selling vaccines at about $10 per dose. We see that from public deals that have been made, where the contracts have been made public in the likes of Slovakia and Hungary. And on the deals we've seen that have gone through Gulf and the Emirates, we see that the deals are made at prices of $19, $20, and $22.50 per dose. We've been speaking to a number of officials in Ghana. I was also on a 4-day trip to Ghana. We were not able to get an interview with the health minister. But we were able to get an interview with the finance minister. Kenneth Foriata, he explained in terms of when he was asked about the pricing and asked whether or not he considered it a reasonable deal, he basically, or I'll quote verbatim what he said, I don't know. You know, you are confronted with the good guys from the West not giving you any assurance of supply, and you have 30 million people of which you have to save the lives. You know, it's easy to sit somewhere and say, why are you doing this? But you need to make sure you protect your people and you manage as well as you can. And he went on to say that basically this is all a contrived and manufactured crisis to get the supply, because clearly there is enough to go around if there was an equity and a justice in what we were doing. That was the end of his quote. So I think one of the important things was just to establish the meeting that happened there on the 3rd of March, when the first shipment of some 16,000 doses were brought up. So that was mentioned in press briefings by the Information Ministry in Ghana, but we were able to secure pictures from the event itself that shows both the Sheikh Ahmed Al Maktoum there at the airport, but also, as you might have mentioned earlier on, Umar Farouk Sahor, which is wanted for charges of fraud here in Norway. If you were asking about other sources we spoke to, we of course spoke with Dr. Kwame Ponzagiano, who heads the inoculation program of Ghana, and a number of other NGOs, reporters, and other people who were able to help us with.
You are mute. You are mute. I don't know if others can hear you.
Yeah, I was saying thanks for listening to that piece of tape. If you're watching, this is the Ghana Agenda, and I'm here talking to the Deputy Communication Director for MPP here in the United States, Mr. Afa Amayao. He's helping us understand the need to actually acquire vaccines and inoculate the population so we can get to herd immunity and open the economy. Even though I still believe the economy is already open. You had the journalist there from
loud and clear.
Vengeance, and he told you that there are a couple of deals that he has cited. He mentioned Hungary and other countries where the Russian government, through this intermediary, the Sheikh, actually struck a contract with those countries to sell the vaccine for $10. But in this case, we are dealing with the same person, the same Sheikh, who's representing the Russians' direct investment fund, but we are getting it for $19. And I don't understand why that is. Why is it that contracts are showing $10 and ours is showing $19 for the same vaccine, which hasn't even been delivered yet? So what do you have to say to that quickly? And I want us to wrap this part up because there's a second bit that I want us to talk about, which is going to deal with the petition filed by the UniBank and UniBank for Parliament to look into how they were closed, and that whether there was a violation of their human rights, etc., etc. And of course, Bank of Ghana responded, and I'm going to read part of that letter, and I would like to take your comments on that as well. But let's kind of wrap this part up with your final comment on what you've heard from this gentleman.
In the first place, it is a shame on his country and onto that journalist to come and tell us that an advanced country could not do something about this person, and we need a product in the market.
Right.
We have not paid anything. We've signed a contract. Yes, of contract there are delays and all these things are taken care of. So at this point in time, if people are not going to point to the fact that, oh, they are not going to deliver, they've delivered. Me, it is you that I'm hearing this 15,000, 5,000 thing, but I was told that 5,000, adding 10,000 to show that they have the capacity has been delivered. So that these things, we can check them later. But, you know, I would agree that there are delays and stuff like that and all this kind of. We want to talk about this, we can talk about them. But I am proud that the government is going the extra mile to make sure that Ghanaians are vaccinated. At least certain key people. Now, they went to the market and this is the price they got. If any, and we can continue to say the factory prices, some people are getting it, blah, blah, blah. The Ghana government is telling you, we did not get it. We did not get it at that price. Right? We did not get it at that price. We tried. We went here, we went there. And there are other countries too that have links with other countries that have also gone for these vaccines. They couldn't get factory price. They got it almost three times another price. So this is not news. This is not something that we think it cannot happen in the market. And around this time, the COVID vaccine is a hot cake. In fact, most of the trading is going on in the black market. You don't want to live with that reality. We can talk and argue and say, oh, there is blah, 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 but you could have gone the normal way. We are not in normal times. Right. And we are pleading with everybody that we are not in normal times. And it is only a government that cares. I mean, some countries have even decided that they are not going to go with the fact that there's COVID, and we are seeing the repercussions. Now, let us even go to AstraZeneca, right? Is that what the name is? AstraZeneca. AstraZeneca is coming from India. Now, from March, the Indian government said, "Hey, my cases have gone up." So
it's not that the Indian government came in March to say the cases are going on. This has been happening. Even people had sent warnings since November. There have been warnings out there since November that there is going to be vaccine shortages. That the government should do something about this. And the government did nothing about it. So it's not like the government is now finding out in March that there are going to be shortages. They've known this for a very long time. You see, America is struggling. All the powerful countries are struggling, and you think that Ghana could have bypassed all these powerful countries and had years by March. Come on now, come on! Afra, don't do this on radio. No. What
You are not giving back to the government of Ghana.
No, okay. What we are saying is that. What we are saying is that knowing that
you think the government of Ghana just went and somebody said, I can give you. They've been trying from place to place, trying, calling, and it is not only health. It is
we are saying that you made a point that the government knew in March that
you did not, Alfred. I was talking about the Indian government. I was making another point with AstraZeneca, and then you jump in and see if I'm talking about Ghana. I'm talking about India stopping its production to Europe.
Okay, hear me out. I'm telling you that the Ghanaian government has been aware since November that the Indians are having upticking case, that the Indian government was not going to be able to deliver on AstraZeneca, even to the COVAX scheme. That has been a public knowledge. So the Ghanaian government since November could have been working to get this vaccine from the Russians, but they did not. They waited. In March, they started an emergency negotiation or whatever negotiation they said they were doing with the Russians.
Are you in the government to say the government has been waited and started negotiation in March?
They did not. That's their own word. If you listen to the minister, the minister said, this is what the Minister of Health said. You could go read the release they put out there that in March, they were told that they were not going to be getting the AstraZeneca vaccines and therefore they have to look elsewhere. But we said that that knowledge is available to them way back in November. It's not something that they just knew in March.
Way back in November. You see, listen, you are here saying we should wait on the American government. We could have waited. You see, one of your points was that we could have waited on the American government for those that gave us the 600 and blah, blah. It was all part of, they said they were going to increase it. So if we are even to go by your argument, or we should wait for handouts, then we should not even be talking about
I think you are missing two different things. You are missing two different things. What I'm saying to you is that, yes, we need to vaccinate our population, but our case, fortunately enough, it's not the emergency you are describing. It
How
is
do
not.
you know? Are you a health expert?
If it was emergency you are describing, why is it that the president is there in a funeral with a whole bunch of people violating the orders he put in there himself? Is it being realistic?
No.
We cannot separate this fact. How do you say there is an emergency, but your president is violating the same emergency? Your president is out there in the funeral with all. How do you say that? So you can't miss these two things. Fortunately, we had 700 and something deaths in Ghana. We have, 90-something thousand people recovering from the data they keep. Even though the government, we are aware that the government wasn't keeping good records. But for the record, let me finish. But for the record, the government put in the public domain.
This is where sometimes I have a problem with inconsistencies. We have been several times on your radio, and others have come, even asking the government to shut down. They said, why is the government was even opening up? I was on the same radio. You didn't take them on. And now you are telling us that we were not in emergency. We could have waited and that there are things happening. People are not violating.
Listen.
Fortunately for us, hold on. Fortunately for us, our cases are not this. Oh, we can make all those arguments. Oh, I like that.
I've been an advocate for the shutdown because the earlier you shut down, the countries that shut down quicker actually prevented a lot of the inflows into the country. I've actually been an advocate of a lockdown.
All these that you are saying, they are contrast. They are contrast.
What do you mean they are? I mean, okay. Let me bring up
that shut down earlier. Right. You don't shut down and sit down. You shut down and act. Right. Now, in Ghana, they were kind of monitoring that they do this and they do that, they do that. They do so many things in there. Now, the March thing you were talking about, it was because India's case went up. And then for whatever they were doing,
I think we've kind of, that's so much on that point. Paul just joined us. Paul, if you're hearing us, Paul, what we've been talking about so far is that our government went on a third party or on the markets to get vaccine for the Russian version of the coronavirus vaccine at a price that is way above what has been stipulated by the Russian government as what they will be selling it for. In fact, the Russian government said they will be selling this thing for $10, but we said we negotiated with the third party, which is the sheikh who is the owner of the Ameri. This sheikh, in fact, has a lot of dealings on our shores. I'm going to show you somewhere here where you can see all the countries that he's playing in. He's like one of the people who's bankrolling Africa and African leaders. So, of course, it's a known quantity. We deal with him all the time. But this is a case where it seems like every time we deal with this sheikh, it's a deal that ends up somehow shady. Even the Ameri deal we had with this same person, we know how that turned out. What have you heard, and what do you have to share on this topic before we move on to the next one? I know if I had the opportunity to lay down a whole lot of propaganda here today.
I know Ifa has been doing propaganda, and I just want to greet yourself. I want to greet Ifa and then greet your viewers this afternoon. Unfortunately, we have one of our own who is getting married, and I'm at the ceremony, but I need to run into my car because of how important this show is to me, and because I don't want Ifa to come and spill out life about it. That is perhaps
we are grateful for that. We are grateful for that. Thank you.
Now, you see, this MPP government, if I tell you they are the most corrupt, most hypocritical, the most shameful, and the most annoying government, if I would tell me I'm attacking or I'm insulting people, I'm not insulting, and that is the truth. Mm-hmm. Why am I saying so? When they were in opposition, during the when the then government, the former government, had a deal with this then sheikh, which we didn't know much about. These people made a lot of noise. And I thought we've learned our lessons. I thought Ghana have learned its lessons from the issues we had with this sheikh. Now let's put this sheikh's issue aside. For the MPP government to go back and deal with this sheikh, they have no shame. Why don't they have shame? Because after the Mary deal, before the NDC dealt with this sheikh, there was not a lot of information that we didn't know. But after we dealt with this sheikh with the Mary deal, it came out that we got to know that this sheikh is a crook. He's a 419 guy. Even though by then the NC has dealt with the sheikh already, we've committed ourselves, we couldn't come out. So for the NPP government who said they came to save the public purse, they came to protect the public purse, for them to go back to this same person, show how shameful, how disgraceful, how visionless this government is. How can you go through a third-party source? While the WHO has put in regulations down that if you want to buy any vaccine, you should deal with the manufacturer directly or deal with the manufacturer's agencies. The every government wants to take advantage of everything. They've corrupt the country to a level that they are corrupting the country in matter of health situation. I am very disappointed and very, annoyed this afternoon for the FDP trying to make money out of this COVID-19 vaccine. How can a manufacturer price going for $10 a dose? And the WHO has given regulations and directions that nobody should deal with a third party in the market. If you want to buy this vaccine, go straight to the manufacturer or deal with the agencies that the manufacturer has assigned.
Right.
What prevented this super incompetent MPP government to go out of hand to deal with a third party, a sheikh, whom they condemned about 4 or 5 years ago? My brother Alfred, this should tell you how shameful this MPP government is. This should tell you how disgraceful this MPP government is. They always tell us they have the men, but they have no men. Now, a vaccine that is going for $10, they have gone to purchase it for $19. That is 90% profit. Whose pocket is that money going into? Is that money going into the pocket of Nana Addo and Efa, or is going to whose pocket? You want to know? Efa should tell us.
Efa, are you getting anything from there?
That we are taking advantage of this COVID-19.
I'm putting on some notes. I'm going to hit him back.
We are taking advantage of it, ripping. We are taking advantage of this COVID-19 and we are ripping the good people of Ghana, the taxpayers' money. And if don't know that the $19 that they are saying the vaccine, it is out of reach. It is out of reach. For Ifa to be here to be defending it, it's very sad, Ifa, my good brother. We should not defend the indefensible. This is something that I expect him to condemn because the WHO has put a restriction down. This sheikh, when America came, I had a program I remember on Obapatio show, and this very Ifa was condemned and they went to a third person. This one is a crook. This one said this. Now, how happened that you have gone to the same person? Ifa, I want you to tell me. What happened that you guys have gone to the same person that you people condemned some time ago? This should show, and this should clearly tell us that the NPP government is not a serious government. This should clearly tell us that the NPP party is just a party of scammers. They are scammers, bunch of scammers who have taken over the country, and they are scammers left, right, center, forward. Now, Alfred, let it be on record that the document that has been presented by the Minister for Health and the document that was presented by the Health Ministry, there are even contradicting statements in them. You see, if you are trying to steal people's money, you think you can protect yourself, but you're going to leave some loopholes that will lead to people to know that you are causing harm to the country.
Right.
In any terms, in any way, this guy was supposed to supply some vaccine as far back as February. He could not meet the deadline. March, he could not meet the deadline. April, he could not meet the deadline. What makes them to think that he can meet this deadline by the end of June?
Right.
You see, Ghana is for all of us. Mother Ghana is what we all have. We have nowhere else. If anything happens in this country, we and all, you, myself, we all go back to our beloved country, Ghana. So for our friends in the NPP to be defending this indefensible, this stinking, corrupt deal is very sad, to say the least.
Thank you for that submission. I don't know if you're... Yeah, can you hear me?
Hello?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
A
Paul has
can you
said
hear
a
me?
lot. Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello,
Paul has said a lot, so go ahead.
Paul, thank you very much, and I want you to take a shot of the wedding for me. You know, especially the dance. I love dancing, so when Ghanaians meet and they dance, it's very good. Yeah, but
my brother,
Paul,
my brother, if I before you talk, let's put Ghana first. I beg you. We
are putting Ghana first, and I like your submission. I like the fact that you've confirmed that Amerideal, the guy that you people contracted, was a shady person. I mean, NDC has been defending this thing for a very long time. So it is good that now based on this this contract, you have confirmed that it was really a shady deal. So Ghanaians will want to know.
I have not said. Let me clarify. After the Amerideal, we've never dealt with this shit before. After the Amerideal, before. No, wait. Let me clarify. After the Amerideal, we didn't know much about this shake. We got to know much about this shake after the Amerideal. And after the Amerideal, we got to Let me clarify myself before you misrepresent me. After the Amerideal, a lot of issues came out about this shake. That is why when your government came to power in 2017, you set up an 18-man delegation led by lawyer Addison to go and do value for money audit. They traveled and they went to Turkey to go and investigate this, and they came up with a report that there was value for money. So I want to put on record that even though we contracted this shake in the Amerideal, the investigation that was conducted by the MPP government led by lawyer Addison came out without no fault. They didn't see any money misappropriated. So let me put that on record. I am saying that this sheikh, we got to know that he has been doing shady deal after we involved in this Amerideal. It was after the Amerideal that a lot of things came out from this sheikh. Secondly, after the Amerideal, this sheikh has been involved in a lot of shady deals. The whole in Norway, and you guys know this. So if you are putting me, quote me in context, please. Thank you, my friend.
Okay, so in effect, what you are saying is that as far as the Amerideal was concerned, the sheikh is clean. But when it comes to other deals apart from the Amerideal, then the sheikh is a very dirty sheikh. That's good. It's okay. I mean,
I am not saying the sheikh is clean. If I am not saying the sheikh is,
no.
I am saying
that
you set up a committee.
If you are going to every single statement of me, we are not going to leave you. Okay, go on.
Let's hold on. Okay, let me read something to you guys real quick before you continue, because I know we were talking over each other. Ibrahim is saying to you again, Mr. Pakape Ibrahim says, are we talking about links here? Russia has established a factory at Accra producing Sputnik V. Trials has actually begun. I guess so. If Mr. Kakape says we have no links, Charlie, we make one for Ghana. So basically, he's telling you that we have links, that, of course, that there's been a factory established in Ghana to produce Sputnik V, and therefore we couldn't say that there's no links. I don't know the authenticity of that information, but then again, if that is true, then of course.
There's no factory in Ghana to produce Sputnik V. There's no factory.
Right.
There's an agreement that in Ghana, when it comes to the fight against COVID-19 and the drug production, that it will be established in Ghana. Now, Sputnik V, a factory to be established is going to be in Algeria. Hello, if we can.
All right. So let's go. Ibrahim says that credibility of the agent is something. Yeah, so let me just finish the comments and then we can jump back into it. So Ibrahim is again saying the credibility of the the agent is something. In other words, I think he's talking about the sheikh and the Norwegian guy. And then Buslinga says, Alfred, the propaganda is too much. Do you always have to play politics with everything? We all know how hard poor countries struggle to get this much needed vaccines. Yes, we know that, but we just expect that when our government goes to get some of these vaccines, that they are candid with us, that they give us the right information. This vaccine has been put out there to be sold for $10. So to whatever extent they are getting it for $19 is the problem. So it's not really that we don't need the vaccine. All I'm saying is that the contractor hasn't delivered on the vaccines. Now the United States is actually releasing about 500 million doses into the COVID scheme, and therefore chances are we are going to be getting even more vaccines from the scheme, which is what we've had before. I can even swear to you now that
it will get to Ghana 2025. When are we getting all those vaccines? What are you talking about?
There's all the vaccines we've gotten in the country so far came from the COVID scheme anyway, right? Have we gotten, and the COVID scheme promises 6 million doses of vaccines. Have we gotten anything that we purchased?
Alfred, hold on. You were talking about the 20,000 delivery that has come into the system. Was that
just to show proof? Just to show proof, right, that they can deliver.
In the country. So don't say that all the vaccines we have in Ghana is from the COVID scheme. No, that's not true.
20,000 for them to show. But it's not the ones we purchased, right? The 20,000 is just for them to show proof that they can deliver.
But we are
actually contracting for 3.4.
If it wasn't because of the contract, it wouldn't come in, and it's going to go into whatever.
And even that, look at how it was delivered.
The 20,000
that wasn't delivered.
We have in the country as a result of the contract. It's not from the COVID scheme. So get that.
The 20,000 was supposed to be brought to us in February. We waited till June to actually get the 20,000. So we are saying that even these people, we are not sure they are going to deliver. And that everything we've gotten so far into the system that we've put in terms.
There is nothing in this world that is assured until you see it. There is not a single thing. Even this medication, it is still a try. It is not an assurance. Even this medication that we're talking about, it is still a try. Everything in this world, there is no guarantee that we're even going to finish this program. Nothing is assured in this world. Until we are done,
the challenges we are having with contracting with third parties to bring the vaccines in and all the conversations around these things, wouldn't you think that is likely to even drive the vaccine hesitancy a lot more? Because people are now, and the belief is that even when you're dealing with third parties, you should be careful with the type of vaccines they will be giving you. And this is the reason we asked for the 20K, so we could test it to see if really it is the vaccine we are looking for is good. But let me finish these comments.
That is why you have your FDA to try. If your FDA will not try and prove the efficacy of the vaccine, that's another thing we can always talk about. Have agencies have people that will deliver what you ask them to do. We can speculate and continue to speculate. We speculated when the AstraZeneca was coming in. So far, I haven't heard anything, and that is not good. People are not even getting it. You talk about 1 or 2 people will die. You see, there is what is called the practicality, and there's what we call the speculation. Doubting Thomases will always come up with all these things, and it is okay to sometimes listen to some of these it guides us. But at the end of the day, let's get it and even say it is wrong. And then we correct ourselves that sitting down and saying we are not going to try at all. 30 million people need to be vaccinated. And the government cannot wait for, we don't know. America is struggling to vaccinate these people. And you talk about they're going to give us 5 million doses, so we should wait. Free stuff. We can wait for the free stuff.
All right. Okay, so let me just take the last few comments and then we can bring this segment to an end and continue to the other segment. Ibrahim is saying that, Ibrahim says Frontier's healthcare cost about 16 million on COVID test at Kotoka, and Ghana's share is only 1 million. Alfred, do you know you can be a minister in Ghana? I will be a secretary, I beg. All right, let's start a campaign, right? Make Alfred minister. But by the way, that is just a quick comment that I wanted to kind of ask about that quickly. When you guys come back, you can give me something on that. So he's saying that Kotoka, the facility in Kotoka, which is a Frontier, got some $17 million, proceeds from the testing that they were doing, the one that they started, charging $150, but then they have to switch it to $50 for the ECOWAS country, etc., etc. And that Ghana or the airport authority actually got only 1 million out of that. We'll discuss that as when you guys come back. I really want you to take a quick bite at that as well. The next comment here says Sputnik V. Sputnik V is what you're talking about. Ibrahim, we got you. We know it's Sputnik V. My boss, Edward Ofori, Dr. Edward Ofori says, you don't need 20K vaccines to test the efficacy. Okay, how many do you need? Tell us. But anyway, my understanding is that 20K that was initially asked to be delivered was for them to show that they really can deliver the 3.4 million that we were intending to contract with them. But then again, the issue is with why are we dealing with third parties when we could deal with Russia? We are a country. We are not a business. We should be dealing with other countries, especially if the countries have put together facilities for us to deal with them. There are other countries who did that There are other countries who did that successfully, and those countries are not any better than us. It's not like we're just finding out that, the India case was going to get worse. We knew the India case was going to be bad way back. And so we should have taken efforts. What were we doing? Put our hand in our laps and waiting for, Indian government to tell us that they couldn't, supply the COVAX scheme again for us to go, and now looking for partners to, get the vaccines from Russia. We could have done that long ago. We could have contracted with the Russian government. First of all, we didn't even need to wait for, Indian to have that situation to be dealing with the government. We should be looking for vaccine from every corner of the world. So to the extent that, we have to deal with a third party and pay $9 more than we should, it's what the problem is. Ibrahim is saying NDC and NPP has Sikanu Ashe. All right, good. So those are the comments. Efa, you were going to say something when I jumped in and tried to read the comments. So if you can go ahead and make your presentation, and then we'll bring Paul in to close on this, and then we'll switch to the next topic. Okay, if I can't hear me, so Paul, you can come.
Yeah, let me quickly, Alfred, say that talk about the frontier issue, and I have to leave the show because I think I need to get back to the wedding. They are at the place where I need to be there to support our comrades.
Well, I'll need a quick comment on the Bank of Ghana issue as well before you go. So
sure. I'll do those quick. Yeah. On the frontier issue is so sad. Once again, right. My good friend Ifa will come and defend this frontier issue. Is it not so sad that this dubious company, once again, I call it a dubious company because the Minister for Justice, the Minister for Information, the Minister for Security, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, the Minister for Defense, the Minister for Interior, all these 6 ministers who were in charge of various tests during the 2020 COVID era are the same minister that has been appointed to head the same ministry. Right. Is it not sad that all these 6 ministers appear in the presence of the appointment committee? None of them know who this company belongs to. Right. None of them know where the company or the owners of the company. None of them know how the company got the contract. It's not so sad. And the Minister for Justice, there are 7 ministries.
But are you saying there's something wrong with the company making $17 million and
of course,
giving Ghana $1 million? What is wrong with that? Do you think a company should not get contracts and be able to make money?
There's a lot of things wrong with it. As we speak, maybe if I can tell your listeners who are the owners of those companies, because for a whole different ministers who sit in cabinet, none of them know who are the owners for this company. Is so sad. They've just come to rip the people off. Don't forget that when this COVID came, Ghana is one of the countries that was charged the highest COVID charges at the airport. $150. I paid that money when I went to help for the election. For them to make those millions of dollars, for Ghana government to be getting all the aviation, Ghana airport to be getting only $1.1 million. Is it not so sad?
Right.
They are taking away almost $15 or $14 million away. I mean, this is sad, Alfred. Let's stop doing this to Mother Ghana. As we speak, that frontier company was formed as far back as June, July last year. Within 3 months, they gave them this contract. Who gave them the contract?
And one will wonder what past experience they had, right? Like, shouldn't you have shown some past experience or what we call past performance?
They never show any experience of knowing that it be in that industry. And the most annoying part of it is that they are using Ghanaian staff.
Gucci. My understanding is they're using Gucci staff to kind of do this work. Okay, so let's let's take a fact quickly, but we have about some 20 minutes to 15 minutes to end the program. But let's take a fact quickly.
I think I have to drop, and let me just comment quick on the banking issue.
I was hoping you would hang out for the next 15 minutes, if you don't mind.
I don't have any commentary on this thing because I haven't received full information on that from the government, so he can go on. So I cannot comment on that.
So you don't want to talk about the bank? Okay, the bank issue. This is what we are
the bank issue. The bank issue I will, but not on the frontier. Okay,
so basically what we have here is yes.
Mr. Mus, you see how a fight is running away from the frontier issue. I think at least he showed today that he's a nationalist. He loves Ghana. He cannot speak about it because the corruption stinks to a level that if I don't want to involve himself, and I thank him for doing that. If I will urge you to speak to your people. This is corruption to the highest level. This frontier issue. Maybe if you can help us to know who are the owners of the company. We want to know who are making those huge money ripped off from us. When if I went to Ghana, if I didn't pay the $150, so he doesn't care, but I pay the $150. So I care.
Right.
I know for a fact that my brother if I did not pay the $150 when he got to Ghana. I know for a fact.
How did you know that? All right, let's take this one. So the law firm of Bechi, Echil, Lache and Ankoma, which is the law firm that Mr. Ace Ankoma is one of the managing directors or managing partners to, represented the Bank of Ghana to respond to a petition that was filed by UT Bank and UniBank for Parliament to look into situations leading to them their licenses being pulled. And I'm going to read part of this. This is just to say a reply from this is a petition laid before Parliament by Honorable Mahama Yariga, Member of Parliament for Boku Central constituency in respect of Mr. Prince Kofi Amoabeng and Dr. Kobina Dufour. Kofi Amoabeng being the owner of UT Bank and Dr. Dufour being the owner of UniBank. So the background is that of course, they say they are the lawyers representing the Bank of Ghana in that case. That is the 1.1, 1.2. They say from the UT Bank's petition, Prince Amoabeng has alleged that the Bank of Ghana contravened his fundamental human rights under the 1992 Constitution of Ghana, including the rules of administrative justice under Article 23 of the Constitution when the Bank of Ghana revoked the banking license of UT Bank and the UniBank. From the UniBank petition and the same thing, of course, Dufour also said the same thing, that his fundamental human rights has been, violated. On the grounds stated in paragraph 1.2 and 1.3 above, the petition invite the Parliament of Ghana to, among other things, investigate the conduct of the Bank of Ghana in revoking the banking license of UT and UniBank. Direct the Bank of Ghana to restore the banking license of UT and UniBank. And 3, or C, remedy the harms caused to the property rights of the shareholders of UT and UniBank through the actions of the Bank of Ghana. So he says, from the letter, the Speaker of Parliament has constituted a committee to investigate the petition and present a report to Parliament. The committee has commenced its investigation and has requested the Bank of Ghana to respond to the concerns raised in the petition. We have provided our response to the letter under paragraph 2, responses below, and set out the reasons for our response. And I'm just going to read the quick highlights of the response. Here's what it says. It says, our client respectfully declines to respond to the petition or participate in the investigation being conducted by Parliament based on the petitions. This is because petitions seek to procure Parliament to review decisions that the Bank of Ghana has taken pursuant to the statutory powers under the Banks and Special Deposit-Taking Institutions Act of 2016, which is Act 930. And we're going to, from now on, call it the BSTDI. The BSTDI Act provides for how persons who are aggrieved with such decisions may seek redress for their grievances, and the prescribed resolution mechanisms do not include recourse to Parliament. B, it invites Parliament to issue instructions to the Bank of Ghana in the performance of its constitutional and statutory duties of promoting economic development and efficient operation of banking and credit systems in Ghana, contrary to Section 3.2 and Section 4.1a of the Bank of Ghana Act 202 Act 6112, as amended by the Bank of Ghana Amendment Act, which is the 2016 version, Act 918, the Bank of Ghana. All right. Then it says, it alleges that breaches of human rights provisions of the Constitution pursuant to Article 125.3 and 33.1, 131, 142, and 2295.8 of the Constitution. The investigation into and determination of such allegations are vested in the judiciary to the exclusion of any other state institution, including Parliament. So that's what they're saying. They are saying that Parliament does not have any jurisdiction in this case. Mr. Paul, since you are about to leave, I would like for you to take or give me some comments on that first. Paul, are you still with us? Yeah, Paul, if you can comment on what you've heard so far. I think there's a private comment here. Sorry, I have to leave. Okay.
Right. He seemed to be, I think he's...
Okay. Paul, are you able to speak on this quickly? We can't hear you. I think you have yourself on mute.
Me now.
Right. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so this is so worrying. And it's worrying because we know, and you know my stand about this banking thing now. I thought this government didn't do a good job because today on News Farm, it was established that so far they've spent 25 billion in reviving the banking sector. I still maintain, and I still want to maintain over here that they could have saved some of the bank, at least UniBank, defunct bank. They could have saved those banks, put some money into it, get new managers to manage the bank, move the owners out, get to private people to manage the bank, save the jobs that they lost, the job that has been destroyed. And it could have led us to where we are today. But whatever it is, the cost has been, the harm has been caused already. We are asking that this government to focus. They should try and pay all the depositors their money. A banking sector that should have cost us 11 billion to fix, they've ended up spending 25 billion. It's not worth it.
Right.
This also is a fact to confirm that this MPP government are not competent. Something that they could have done, something that they could have brought experienced people to manage. They came in because of political gain. I personally think they did this thing because they wanted to cripple all those people that they close their accounts or they close their banks. Do for Kofi Amwabe and the Indian, all these people are their competitors. They did this thing in the knowing or deliberately to cripple the people. But at the end of it, cost as it cost, it has caused a lot of unemployment. And don't let us forget that if we talk about national security, if we have high rate of youth not employed, it's a threat to the country.
Right.
I pray
and
I hope.
But Paul, the situation here is that you are petitioning Parliament to get involved because you believe, the owners of the bank believe.
Yeah, I know the case is in court.
Yeah, the cases are in court. So should they be going to Parliament?
Yeah, I think they have their right because they think they've not been treated fairly. That's what I'm saying. That there is a sort of backbiting and then trying to deliberately trying to cripple this. Dufour and co. So that is why I am saying that. They have every right to go to Parliament to seek for redress, and Parliament calling the bank.
Okay, we may have lost Paul quickly there. Okay, Paul, go ahead.
Not allow this to go. They should throw this Bank of Ghana to the table. They should deal with them because the Bank of Ghana is not bigger than Parliament. Parliament is the arm of government. It's another legislative arm of government who has sole authority to invite these people to answer questions. To me, this. And I think I'm to me. And I want to say hello to my good friend Ifa. Next week, we'll sit down. Next week, it's going to be a tough time for me and him. Next week is my birthday, and I'll be ready for him. Thank you very much. I think I have to run away. Please.
All right, no problem. Thanks for joining the show. We really appreciate all your comments. Ifa, so you've heard what our good friend Paul has to say. Paul is saying that, you know, some of these things they did within the banking sector was intentional to kind of shut down banks that are competitors and, you know, remain monopoly within the sector. Do you agree with that? And it's my belief, just, you know, for full disclosure, that I think, you know, that some of these cases should be allowed to exhaust themselves before, you know, we get Parliament involved. But then they also have a right to go to Parliament if they think the court cases are not moving fast enough to petition Parliament to look into what is going on and whether their human rights are being violated. So what do you say to that, Fa?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, so the banking sector crisis. Yeah. When these are issues of governance, right? With that aspect will be corporate governance and stuff like that. There are laws governing how financial transactions and you know, whatever it is are dealt with in the country. As far back as, was it 2015, 2016, was when we were made to know that there has been a Ponzi, what was the word? There has been a Ponzi scheme in the banking sector and it is shaking and we need to do something. We were made to be aware. So what were you supposed to have done? Now, we are being told that the banks could have been saved in another way. Why didn't we do it then? Right? Now,
that is a question to you and your government, right? So why did
exactly. Exactly. This is what they did. This is what they did. All these things he's talking about, right? The banks were giving money. They were giving money for them to take care of whatever it is the problem in there. And what were we told? Right? They took the money.
Who gave the money to the bank?
The former administration before we took over in 2017. The banks were giving money for them to become strong, to take care of whatever they need to take care of.
I am not particularly aware that they were giving money. I know they did the asset the asset valuations were done, and there were problems. Majority of the loans that the banks have on their books are non-performing loans, are loans that they actually gave themselves. Yes. And so the situation was known under the previous administration, and the previous administration kind of put up a plan on how they were going to deal with it. But unfortunately, they were voted out of government, and MPP inherited this problem. And so, as to whether there was some money exchanging hands between the governments, previous government,
no,
and the MPP, is not something
if you say money exchanging hands, it's like some kind of behind the scenes thing. No. Yeah, that wasn't what happened. Now, when the government identified that there's a problem with the banking sector, right? They give them some money for them to, you know, kind of do what they need to do to get to their whatever they need to do. You know, these banking stuff and what they're supposed to do. Now,
that's what I'm saying. I'm not aware of that, but I'll
find that again. I'll find that information and I will send that to you. But let's even put that one aside. If we say NDC had a plan to do whatever, we were told at the State of the Nation's address of the Ponzi schemes and whatever, and that is going to collapse, right? And that it was going to collapse. Okay, any comprehensive whatever was mere talk and wasn't an action. But they have been in power for 8 years and couldn't do anything. Now, what I'm talking about is right here. It says starting in 2015, UT Bank Limited took a total 800 million cedis, and Capital Bank received 620 million cedis in liquidity support from the Bank of Ghana, coupled with rising non-performing. Yeah, so something happened, right? They had this one was this was in 2015. So this happened, and still, and we were, when the report came with what the government did, we all realized that they took the money and started doing whatever. You know, they loaned themselves and all sorts of deals and whatever, buying.
let's stay on the issue. The issue really is.
I'm coming
should they be in
on
Parliament?
the issue. But if we don't, okay. So if you go and two people are fighting, right? You ask them what happened yesterday, or what happened, what brought you here. So it is not the two of them standing there exchanging things that we're going to base on. Okay, so let me recount, and then I'm going to learn.
But we can definitely do a bank.
But you allow Paul to divert.
No, I try to bring
Paul. And you don't want me to explain.
I try to bring Paul back to the issue, which is, them taking the case to Parliament and petitioning Parliament to look into their perceived or alleged violation of their human rights. That is the issue. Should they be going there? Because if you look at the letter written by
Mr. Hood, you've read extensively. We saw that. Paul did not even address all these things. He was roaming about. And when I quoted that the banks were bailed out, you told me you were not aware of that information.
I'm not aware. Now I'm aware.
I've read it to you. Yes. So I'm telling you that people were there stealing money that has been given to them to do whatever.
You are doing the investigation that the petitioners are asking Parliament to do. I don't think you and I have all the facts of that matter. So
I just read to you that they were giving liquidity support. Within 2 years, did you see that liquidity support?
Does liquidity support mean their human rights have not been violated? I mean, the case is
if your human rights have been violated, you go to court.
Well, but what I'm saying is,
no. If your human rights have been violated as a bank, you go to court.
Exactly what Isakuma put in the letter, that the judiciary is who has to deal with that. But I'm saying that Parliament still have some power over the Bank of Ghana, right or wrong?
They have the power to invite them, but they don't have the power to somebody coming and
that is the invitation.
No, it's not. In any case,
a citizen can petition Parliament to invite somebody. It is not up to the person to say,
Alfred, we all know that Parliament can invite and they can investigate, but it's not going to do anything. Parliament cannot compensate. Can you let me finish? Parliament can make recommendation. Parliament can do this. Do this, recommend this, blah blah blah. You see, they will issue a white paper. It's a committee, right? They will issue a white paper and then nothing happens. But in the court, if the court says, hey, the bank was not closed properly, give it back. The government don't have a choice.
This case has been in the court for so long, and so the aggrieved parties here want to resort to other means of either getting things expedited or having some finality to their grievance. And their grievance is that their human rights is being violated. The manner in which the banks were closed. They have facts that, as citizens of Ghana, we should allow them to present their facts so we can hear them out. They've gone through all the right channels. They've gone through the courts. They've gone through the arbitrations. And in some of the arbitrations, they have to pull out because it's their belief that the arbitrators or the parties were not being fair to them. So they pull out of arbitrations, and they've done things, and they are finally resorting to Parliament to say, you parliamentarians, can you look into this and see, in fact, if the Bank of Ghana is overstepping their boundaries in pulling their license? And we should all be interested in that, because you and I can start a bank tomorrow. And if the way politically charged our environment is, we are not expecting that a government can decide to use the Bank of Ghana to close our banks, and we wouldn't have any recourse. It would be wrong.
The banks have not been closed.
Their licenses were pulled.
Because so if you
I don't want the answers of why they were pulled from you. I just want you to tell me whether, as a Ghanaian, you should be able to petition your parliament to call on a government institution to come and respond to you.
Oh, exactly. And I don't think there has been anything that has suggested that Parliament cannot, or Parliament has not thrown it up. Parliament is doing the investigation, and nobody is against that.
Bank of Ghana said they're not going to participate in the investigation.
They have given them reasons. They have quoted laws that were passed by the parliament that they are, that this is the meaning of this law that you passed. That
So-
under the circumstances, if they want redress, if I can finish, if they want redress, this and this are the forums that are available to them. But that does not mean that the government, the Bank of Ghana has provided response, right? That doesn't mean you can still not go ahead and issue your report. Go ahead and issue your report.
Well, in other words, what I'm saying is, yes, there's you know, the provisions in the law as to how you redress situations where your license were pulled. That has been outlined in the Bank and the Depository Taking Institutions Act. We know that. Now, what we are saying is, it doesn't absolve Parliament from their, you know, oversight responsibility over government institutions. So if Parliament is asking Bank of Ghana to submit themselves or to respond to an investigation that the legislature is conducting, what isn't it arrogance for? Isn't it? Yeah, it's pure. Isn't it purely an arrogant position to take by saying you will not participate in an oversight responsibility that is vested in Parliament? Nothing in the law, you know, says Parliament cannot have oversight responsibility over the Bank of Ghana.
Okay. So you are missing stuff. Okay. Now, Parliament has a committee on finance, right? So, for instance, if Parliament Committee of Finance says that, oh, the banking sector that was closed wasn't properly, they can always, at each point in time, they can always call them to come and explain to them, and that is why they responded. Right? You see, what you are talking about is responsibility.
Their response is we are not participating. We are not participating, and they went ahead and
listed
because of this, because of that, we are not participating.
Okay, hold on. What you are talking about is completely different. Now, here we have two people, two of the banks that were consolidated, not closed, consolidated, and then they come into a different forum, said, oh, the forum that has been created out there for us to use, we don't believe in it. We think it's unfair. It's blah, 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 it's whatever. So we come here to do this. And then there's a response that is coming from whoever you call in, which is Bank of Ghana. And they are also explaining that blah, blah, blah. This is the reason we don't think this is the appropriate forum for them to. So you issue it, they have issued it. So Parliament, I think, will respond based on whatever law say, no, you can, and then we take it up from there. Most of these laws have not been tried. Most of these laws have not been appropriately tried. Now, let me ask you, why did NDC not go to Parliament but went to court on the distinct petition, or they choose wherever they want to go?
Yeah, but I'm saying that NDC was dealing with what electoral commissioner, right? And NDC decided that, you know, we go to courts and
it's a state institution, right?
Right. But it doesn't mean that Parliament cannot invite the electoral commissioner to come and answer to certain questions.
Exactly.
Again, we also know that the electoral commission is independent institution on its own, so really it doesn't have to take instructions from Parliament. So
Bank of Ghana is not independent institution.
Bank of Ghana shouldn't also take instructions from you know, the Parliament, but it does not stop Parliament from inviting them. It does not stop Parliament from inviting them to respond to, you know, specific allegations that has been leveled against them. So that's my point. That's all I wanted to say. I know there are certain things in there that I disagree with, like having, like, there's a second part where they were asking, you know, Parliament to instruct the bank to do XYZ. The bank has an act that spells out what the bank should do. So that Parliament, if Parliament wants to change the act, Parliament should go ahead and change the act. Maybe out of this investigation, Parliament may decide that let's change the act. So we still want the bank to submit themselves to those response and be part of the investigation and cooperate. What are they hiding? If you're not hiding anything, why wouldn't you cooperate in a simple investigation as to whether you were in violation? Is Bank of Ghana above violating somebody's rights? In the cases we've seen where, you know, if you look at the allegations that the Mr. Moabain and Dufour are making, there were steps that the bank was supposed to take in before their licenses were pulled, that the bank didn't exhaust those steps. What do you call it? the person they chose from KPMG to represent the bank in dealing with UT and UniBank. We saw all the SSs that came out of that. Even that guy has to resign and go away. But these are some of the things that, you know, those people involved, like the Dufour, the shareholders, and Amoabe are trying to get redresses for. And in the court, the cases have been delayed. In arbitration, the choosing of the arbitrators and were being, massaged against them, and they wanted a neutral body to look into these things. They're not saying, they just want Parliament to look at it, and Parliament should come to sort of intermediation so that, the right thing is done here. And, I think all Ghanaians should be interested in that. Paul, I said, Paul, give us your final words on this, and let's bring the program to an end. Afa, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I said we were all here when the government came, and then they put out all the challenges in the banking sector, and then they clearly set the path towards, redressing the issues on the ground. They started by saying they were going to recapitalize. They gave a date, do this, blah blah. If you are not able to steps. So as far as some of us were concerned, yes. You see, there is not a single human institution that you're going to find shortfalls for. We want to talk about the shortfalls. We talk about it, and then it helps us in the next in our next.
It helps us change the laws if we have to. It helps us determine how our institutions should operate.
Exactly, and all that. And I am not saying that Amoabin and Mr. Dufour cannot go, or Dr. Dufour cannot go to Parliament. They should go. The Bank of Ghana has responded. I am sure that is not the end of the matter.
But their response, did you hear me read their response? Their response is they are not participating. They said they're not going to participate. Right? Well, the response, they were asked, the issues they were laid before them, they should be able to respond to those lists.
Hey, Alfred.
Yes, sir.
So they have responded, right?
By saying they're not going to participate.
Exactly. It's a response, right? Come here. I'm not going to come. It's a response to whatever. You have responded to the letter of blah, 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 blah. So
and we are saying that it's arrogance. They should change that. They should submit themselves to parliamentary investigations.
No.
So that their acts can be scrutinized and whether they actually do the right thing or not.
Alfred, if you let me finish, okay, then we're going to understand. Now, do you think that if they had gone to court and they've been subpoenaed to respond, they would have said that it was in the appropriate forum? That's number one. Number two, you see, as Parliament has sat down, and they are when the committee sits, it has a power of a certain level of a court. I don't know whether it's a high court or whatever.
Yeah, it has a power of a court. Yeah.
Exactly. So they've asked them to respond. This is what they did. I mean, we don't know the law more than these parliamentarians, and Ghana's parliament is very powerful. They can do whatever. So the next few days, we are going to know what next they're going to do. It is not a finality to whatever parliament has set up. So let us not rush into arrogance and blah, 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 whatever it is, right? Because they too consulted their lawyers and they came up with that response and stuff like that. So they have a choice as to blah, blah, blah. I mean, sometimes it's better to give you an example. NDC went to court and they said they have a pink sheet, but we are not going to bring it. Did the court force them? The court cannot force them that.
No,
bring it by force.
NDC is the petitioner. NDC is the petitioner here, and they have the latitude as to what they make their cases with. If you take a case to court and you don't want to provide certain evidence, you have that latitude. But we are saying you are a government institution. The Ghanaians. A Ghanaian citizen is saying that you're in violation of their rights. So that is a bad example. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a bad example.
No, you wouldn't let me finish. Now, NDC decided not to, and then it got to a point where they said the EC should come and testify. EC too said I will not, and nobody did anything. And within the law, they were found to have been right and not availing themselves. So these are not cases we have not even heard before. Now, so going forward, this is not concluded.
No. Let's stop there. EC says they are not going to testify is different from EC saying they are not going to even participate in the court case at all. In this case, yes, a committee form, and committee has invited you to respond to certain things that are allegations that has been laid in front before them. You say you are not going to respond at all, and you are not going to participate.
No.
You say you're not going to participate in the investigation.
No, they have responded and explained.
That is different from Electoral Commission saying I'm not going to testify. Electoral Commission participated in the case, but said it is their right that if the petitioner says they close their case, they don't have to introduce evidence because they don't think the case is made. So
let's come to the financial sector now. As we are speaking, if you will let me finish with the whole of mine, you jump in, so it affects the flow. Now, as we are speaking, we know that there are a lot of cases with all these banks in court. So once a case is in court, arbitration, whatever you want to call it, you cannot also jump to another place and go and give or discuss or talk or blah blah blah. We know
they pulled out of the arbitration. They pulled out of the arbitration. If you read,
but I know it. But the how do you call it? The one taking the money from them. He is still in court, right? And today, it's all the same scenario. And today, I heard about 14 dockets or so on these banking sector issues is ready with the Attorney General to be sent to court so far. So the whole point of what I'm saying is that they have responded that is not the appropriate forum.
Anyway, justice delayed, as we know, justice denied. Justice delayed is justice denied.
But justice delayed is not in Parliament. Justice delayed is justice delayed in court, not in Parliament.
They are resorting to all the recourse available to them wherever, and
exactly the same way Wyoming went all the way to the International Court of Justice or the African Court and came back in Ghana and paid. So these people are using the Wyoming tactics, but they will come back to Ghana and pay whatever they are supposed to pay.
Right. Okay. So let's take a few last comments, and then I would like to take your last word, and then we can bring the program to an end. Ibrahim says we deserve more than 1 million. Forget about who owes the frontier. The fact is, people are milking the system. Ghana. Thanks for that. Dr. Ofori say fireworks, fire. That means the show has been good. He loves it. That's my boss. So if he says that means I've done my job. Thank you so much, Dr. Ofori, for watching and for giving us those good comments. Ibrahim says, I can't be a prophet of doom, but you know what's happening on the ground? I'm scared of a second wave. All right, so in that case, then you should be approving of any black market deal for any vaccines at all that we are able to bring into the country, right? If you are worried about second waves. Yeah, so thanks for that comment, Mr. Ibrahim, and thanks for watching, giving us a lot of comments. We appreciate it for all your supports. We would definitely are happy to have you and keep coming. Thank you so much. The final Dr. Ato Komiredansu. Of course, I was worried that Ato Komiredansu is not watching us today, and anytime he's not watching, I'm worried. I'm like, what's happening? Where's Doc? And of course, Doc is here. He's watching, and he says what? When other nations were investing in vaccines, we were drinking Sobolo, dancing in conspiracy theories. Now you have to pay. Well, we have to pay now. And sometimes it looks like somebody who knows that definitely, I don't think they need to buy vaccine just to merge. It's not something that we know COVAX was only going to give us 6 million. They've told us from the beginning. So what made us wait? I don't get it. Why do we wait till some time in match to find out, oh, by the way, we're not getting AstraZeneca, and therefore we have to now go to the Russians? We should have gone to the Russians from day one. Other countries did, and they got theirs. So I don't get it. Last comment here is Johnny saying, interesting discussion. Johnny, thanks for watching, and thanks for supporting ACO Radio and the Ghana Agenda. We really appreciate it. Paul. So those are the comments I have read. Do you have any comments, questions on any one of them? Also, if you can give me your last words on all the things we've discussed today, on both the vaccine acquisition and, of course, the, arrogance of Bank of Ghana in refusing to participate in a duly constituted committee of parliament.
Yeah, thank you very much. We appreciate the comments of the viewers. I mean, we all don't know. I mean, I don't come here and I claim to know it all. I would never do that.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone is entitled to their opinion. But at the end of the day, something ought to be done. So when it comes to the case of the vaccines, right? I mean, we sometimes we wait for handouts and people say, hey, when are you also going to be a man, right? When it was coming into Ghana, when the 600,000 was coming into Ghana, we were all here when people are saying, hey, maybe we are going to be used as guinea pigs. And now it got to Ghana, and then it became a hot cake for
a hot cake.
So I mean, they were giving the parliamentarians, was it 200,000 those or well, man, Bagwin was kind of like, man, it's not enough, man. We need to get the vaccines first. But so at the end of the day, it's all good. It's nation building. Everybody has a stake in it. We all share our opinion and stuff like that. Now, for me, I'm not defending. There are certain things I don't agree with the government. There are certain things I don't have information about. But you see, some of us are in business. We are in business. We go to the market. We buy. When something is a hot cake, Bema. Sure, maybe some countries are fighting over why you bought it this and blah blah. But at the end of the day, the government will look at it and say, "My people are passing."
But you know, is it incompetence? Because of course, like we said, they could have bought.
Then Israel, a powerful nation that Israel is the most incompetent country. I didn't know that.
We are saying that they could have gotten these deals down long ago. We know that.
How do you know?
Out of a population of 31 million, you were promised only 6 million. You know that you have to buy the rest to get to the 70%.
Where? From where? Get it from where? Get it from where?
But I'm saying that, right? I'm saying that, you know, Russia has Sputnik V. US has Pfizer, Moderna.
And Moderna.
The same place Israel was buying it from. Is that place close to Ghana? Ghana can also buy from the same place. But I'm saying I'm also saying that the fact that
we are talking about pricing here. We are not talking about availability. We are talking about pricing and how you get it.
I'm saying you had Minister Oforiatta says that there is so much vaccines to get around, and there's some cynicism. That's his favorite word. There's some cynicism in the system. So I'm saying a government who knows that you are only getting 6 million, but you have 31 million, people that perhaps you're going to need about some 20 million people to be vaccinated. Right. All right. Right. So out of that 6, you need to actually get about some 14 millions. All right. Right. From day one, from when Corona was, from a year ago. So what arrangement do you have?
No. Okay, hold on right.
COVAX told Ghana since March of 2020. What percentage of vaccines Ghana was going to get. And Ghana knew that they have to buy the rest.
Okay, so you say as of March, the COVID vaccines
2020, as of March 2020.
As of March 2020, the coronavirus vaccines were ready? What?
No, when World Health Organization declared the pandemic, they had constituted a COVAX and they said they were going to...
Where was the vaccine? Where was the vaccines in March 2020? Where was the vaccine?
No, you're not listening. I'm saying that when was COVAX constituted? When was COVAX constituted? COVAX was constituted when it declared the emergency. And COVAX had promised that vaccinations they will give 20% to each country that they will be supporting, that they will get 20%. When I say March, when I say June, I'm trying to say that way back in 2020, the government is aware of what COVAX was going to be given to Ghana. And the government then should have plans that would, identify where they will be sourcing the rest from. So where are those plans?
Plans like
where
what?
They will
Give
be
me some of the plans.
The rest, where they will be sourcing the rest.
Who told you they did not do it? I don't tell you.
Where is it?
I don't tell. Huh?
Where is it? Where are the plans?
Now we shift from we've gotten it to where was the plan then, right? Where was America's plan? Where was American plan? Why is it that Israel has been able to vaccinate their population in America? Where Pfizer and Moderna, they haven't. Why?
Well, we know who was the president of the United States, but that's not a problem. We're not talking about the United States. I'm saying Ghana. Brazil is able to get it. Hungary is able to get the same vaccines from the Russians.
Ghana is not Brazil. Ghana is not Brazil.
But Hungary.
So Ghana is not Brazil. Ghana is not Hungary.
Oh, come on. Anyway, it's incompetence anyway. But I interrupted your final words, so finish it up.
It's easy to say that, okay? It's easy to say that. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, the government has done a good job of making sure that Ghanaians get the vaccine.
Poorly. They didn't do any good job. But go ahead.
You see, you are still interrupting me. I said you are entitled to your opinion. You can say the money is going to Akufo-Addo's pocket, whatever. I'm not going to argue with you. I say you are entitled to that. But what I'm saying is that me sitting here and as a businessman knowing how business is, I mean, if I don't know a certain area, I'm not going to speak to that. We all struggle to get certain things. Right. So, I mean, whatever we're going to say, if I tell you the things I'm struggling to get to do certain things in Ghana and how the thing is available, but how you got to go and get it, and people intentionally saving them somewhere for pricing. I mean, we can at this point in time, believe it or not, COVID vaccines are a hot commodity and business people are going to take advantage of it. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying we should do it. But I mean, hey, government delayed, whatever. Government started late, whatever. At the end of the day, we know that whatever it is, Ghana is ahead of so many countries in the world. What are they doing? Maybe they've not even started. Some even don't believe it, but our government believed in it, and we are acting. And that is
ahead of
for all of us.
I think you're throwing this line out. The government is ahead of Ghana is ahead of countries. I don't know in terms of what.
Right,
but,
and
in terms of what.
And even. Do you know that we even got some supplies from Congo because they didn't have the capacity to store.
You mean the expired ones that we throw away?
Oh, come on now.
Congo didn't want the AstraZeneca vaccine because they thought, the blood clot issues that was coming out caused them to now want
Ghana, we want it.
So we got the man, by the time we got them, they were expired anyway. Anyway,
I haven't heard about that. That's fine. So that is that. Now, the other issues about the Bank of Ghana and Parliament and Amwabin and Dr. Dufour writing to them. It's all the process. It's all part of the process, right? Anytime issues come, you call before a committee, you respond. They take it up from there. Today this, today that. But what I know is that is not an end to the committee's work. So the committee still has whatever they're going to look down the books before them, the laws and acts and whatever their terms of references, and then we're going to have more information going forward. But it's all part of the process. Everybody, people are put in positions to work. They are lawyers and all these people. You're wrong, you are not wrong. Then we chart a path for the future. I am not normally bothered about we gotta fix the problem today and now. No, I'm not really bothered about that. Like you said, what happens to the future? How are we gonna, if something is wrong, how do we correct it that others will not be affected? That is more important than whatever it is. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't take care of the present. We are taking care of the present. So let the process go and let us see how everything is gonna go. I mean, I don't really think that anybody can bamboozle Parliament and get away with it. But the Bank of Ghana has responded, good or bad. Let's see how the response from Parliament goes, and we'll take it up from there. But all this will boil up to the fact that MPP is breaking the 8 and 2024. We are winning. I'll be in Ghana. Bye-bye. Thank you very much, and thanks for everybody.
MPP is breaking the 8 is Mr. Fast final words. In other words, what I mean is that he believes MPP is going to win again in the next election. If you ask the NDC, they will say, heck no, that's never going to happen. Ghanaians are ready to throw this government away, and with all these deals that they are doing, which is charging excessive prices, above prices that have been announced by countries that are actually manufacturing and selling these things, and they tell you, hey, some of these are, what do you call it? This is a factory prices. And for whatever reason, we are not able to get a factory price. All right, so Ibrahim is saying, ask Mr. Kakape, why do they tag everyone who complains to be NDC? Please, remember, some of us have no party. However, we vote by what and how they speak. And that is very true. There are so many people who, of course, listen to our program and, discerning just by what I hear from government communicators like yourself, Rafa. So he's appealing for you to win him versus label him or others as NDC. The fact that the government is being criticized or whoever is criticizing the government does not necessarily mean that person is NDC. On that note, I would say today has been a great conversation. We've discussed two of very important topics that are plaguing our country. The issue of the vaccines being purchased on the black market or through third parties, through a sheikh who apparently is bankrolling a lot of these African countries. I don't know why he has an affinity to dealing with these African countries. If you see all the investments that these guys actually have, majority of them are in Africa. And what you tend to see is that most African, governments are corrupt. If you're a U.S. company, it's hard for you to win business in Africa. You know why? Because a U.S. company cannot do a facilitation fee or bribery because they have to report under what we call the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. And when they are being investigated by whether it's an FBI or who other organization or the Security and Exchange Commission on the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, the government involved is equally investigated, and therefore government officials of African countries or corrupt countries tend not to deal with most companies from the United States or United Kingdom. The United Kingdom's version of the Foreign Corrupt Practice Act is called something Fraud Act or something like that. UK United Kingdom Fraud Act. So I'll look into that and reveal that on the next show. But the issue is this sheikh from Dubai or the United Arab Emirates, who happens to be a second cousin of the ruler of Dubai, specializes in bankrolling or financing projects strictly in Africa, to where some allegations have been made that he himself and other people that he deals with are not necessarily fair players in their support to governments and the type of works they do. We've done an Ameri deal with him, and the understanding is that as the government that dealt with him, then the investigations reveal no malfeasance occurred, but that the personality himself was kind of a difficult person to deal with, or some of not clear. Not a person that we should be dealing with in the first place. Lifetime Legacy says we are having connections and thieves leading connection men and thieves leading in the country. Thanks for watching, Legacy. We really appreciate you watching all the time. I can't mention this name. Njima says something, and thanks for watching, Njima, with all your symbols. We are in solidarity with Nigeria, and we want to say that their Twitter issues be resolved quickly. We call on all leaders in that country. If anybody's listening to a known Nigerian leader, let's tell them Ghana agenda is appealing to the Nigerian government to leave the ban on Twitter so Nigerians can continue to tweet or communicate using that social media platform. Also, today, we know that the Euro 2020 going on, which is the soccer game for the European nations competing for the European Championship, had a game between Denmark and Finland. And during the game, Eric Christensen, who is one of used to be, Hotspurs, Hotspurs, right? Tottenham Hotspurs player who moved on to join Inter Milan. He actually collapsed during the game, and my understanding is that he's back to life, that he's feeling good. He's in the hospital recovering. The game has been suspended upon that. This is where he didn't even have the ball with him. He slowly fell off and stopped breathing, and they have to kind of perform CPR on him, etc., etc. So our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family. We wish him a speedy recovery so that the games can resume quickly. So with that, I will say thanks for watching the Ghana Agenda today. We've done a little bit of change in here. You can see we have a good new microphone. Hopefully it has increased the quality of our sound, and that is what we stand for on ARCO Radio. We are quality, and we are #1 in radio and of course social media communication in the diaspora. Now I am going to end today's show here, And I wanted to, wouldn't do so without saying thanks to all my viewers for sticking with me for the last 2 hours and for all the contributions, the comments. We really appreciate them. Keep coming. Next week, we'll be back with some very interesting topics for you. If you have anything you would like to discuss, we are hoping to have the capability to actually pick calls now. And what we'll be doing is next week when we come, we'll try to see. I'll try to test it before we come. I didn't do proper testing, I guess, and so I wasn't able to, pipe the calls through. Or even though I kind of route the calls through, I'm not hearing the caller. So next week, however, we'll do all the testing, make sure we got the numbers ready, and you can call in or dial into the program and contribute. Again, thanks for watching. I think some last comments came in here, which is from Ibrahim that says, collapsing on a pack. If I be Ghana and Kwan, we go talk, say, it be juju. It be true, Charlie. The man just fall away, unfortunately. They have to suspend the game. He couldn't breathe. They have to perform CPR on him, take him to the hospital. But understanding is he's back, he's resuscitated. And that is a good news that he's able to, come back. Some people, get into those situations and they pass, but luckily he survived. So thanks for watching the program. Thanks, Ibrahim, for all the comments. We really appreciate it. We'll be back next week. Tell a friend to tell a friend. The Ghana Agenda is on every Saturday from 2 p.m. Thanks for watching. Bye.